Oh man, episode four. Four is special, a special, very special number to me for so many different reasons. Um, and as you evolve, you'll see how vital numbers are if you haven't already, of course. And evolve is a continuous process. So if you don't know something, that's okay. Don't. And I'm gonna say this before I even get started. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for something you don't know. Um, I think we all been guilty of that, feeling bad for something we don't know, whether that's from ourselves or people making us feel that way. But it's a lot of things I don't know. And the more I learn, the more I realize it's a lot of more things I don't know. So, like I said, I won't go into this episode on why four is such a very special number. But what I will say about four is I was born on the fourth and Hove was born on the fourth. Um, a lot of special people was born on the fourth. Obviously, if you wasn't born on the fourth, that doesn't mean you're not special. But you're not as special as the people that was born on the fourth. Nah, but no. All jokes aside, though, but not joking. The fourth, the number four, and being on the fourth, born on the fourth, is very special to me. And I may be biased, and that's okay. I think we're all a little biased, and we're going to talk about being biased. But before I even get started, getting started, what I want to talk about on this episode, episode four, evolving through experience, return, is the mentality I had coming into building, evolving through experience. Like I wish I could put it into words, exactly like the energy I was feeling when I had this realization. I'm going to say this word, but I'm working on pronouncing this word. I had an epiphany. Oh, I said it right. I always get stumbled on that word a lot, but it was just like, it's something I can't explain to this day. And I think one day I will be able to explain it. But the energy I had was just next level from a mental, spiritual, and emotional standpoint, even physical, when I came to the realization of all of this and how everything played a role. And I think it happened when it needed to happen. Obviously, some people don't have these moments until later in life, which is okay as well. But I had it at 18, graduating high school. And this is when I started this brand. Building a website, I just wanted people to understand, like, yo, like this brand is way bigger than me, bigger than those exact moments. It's levels that I haven't even tapped into yet, but I'm aware of them, if that makes sense. And that's why I started this brand, like just understanding how everything plays a vital role for the betterment. So when building evolving through experience, like it wasn't about no clothes, it wasn't about making no money. It's really about letting people see the adversity that we all have gone through in some capacity, some more than others, quote unquote, however you want to look at it, it all played a role. So with the website, I started off obviously with the mission statement. And obviously, if you go to the website, you can see the mission statement. Before I even get into the mission statement, the main thing I started was evolving souls. And that's a segment on the page. And on this page, I just wanted to share stories. Obviously, on the YouTube, I've shared stories, but obviously, I started with the reading because that was the most convenient. And obviously, everybody that had a tremendous story to share, I couldn't literally get to them all at once or physically to sit down and do an interview, set up cameras. And like I said, I started out with just my iPhone 7 or whatever I had at the time, just trying to make it work. And the phone used to record so long and had to put my phone in airplane mode so it wouldn't get interrupted, because I had to go start record and then run back to the seat just and get in position to make sure I was in the right space and make sure I was projecting loud enough, because I just figured I'm gonna figure it out, and that's how I started. So with that being said, I couldn't obviously get to every single person that I wanted to share a story on that had a tremendous story to share. And when I say tremendous, I just mean it was impactful. It doesn't mean it had to be the worst story or the biggest story, quote unquote, to society standards or even to my standards. It was impactful. Impactful can mean a lot of different things for different people, whether that's big, large, small, medium. It doesn't matter. If it's impactful, it's impactful. And that's what we did. So here I'm going to get into Evolving Through Experience website. I started off with the main page of Evolving Souls because, like I said, I couldn't reach everybody. So I wanted to reach everybody, of course, but obviously with evolving, I know things take time. And the same way at this moment, I think this is probably when I was focused, and obviously I'm still focused on it, but I probably was locked in on more books at the time. The same way movies, and I wanted everybody to get it from different aspects because some people read, some people more enjoy watching movies, some people do both. And that's the reason I wanted to hit all aspects because obviously if I couldn't do the videos, at least I know I could always do a story. So I got people to share their stories with me, obviously with permission. All stories on the page are written by those individuals because I don't believe nobody could tell their story better than they can. Although we could have tried to make it better, not better, but we could have added our own twist on it. Again, I don't think nobody could tell their story better than them. So with Evolving Souls, I wanted to share stories directly from the individuals. I wanted, I obviously reached out and got permission from everybody before sharing their stories. But I read their stories, listened to them. I found them through different avenues. Some people I directly knew, some people was mutual, and then even just searching Instagram, I'm finding different people that's been through so many different experiences, and those stories and hearing glimpses of their stories has inspired me in an impactful way. And I'm sure if others seen it because it's so relatable that they could gain something from it and also know again they're not alone. So I started with that because again, some people learn better through reading, some people learn better through movies, some people learn through both. I just wanted to hit all avenues. And at this moment, this is when I truly, the same way you could watch a movie over or even one time and you could really feel the energy or you've been inspired by it. The truth is that you could get the same feeling from a book. I don't know if everybody reads, and it's okay if you don't, but I'm just saying the same type of energy and impactfulness that you can get from watching a movie, inspiration, you can get that from a book. And I can recommend a few books that can really have an impact on you depending on what aspect looking from whether that's from finances, from mentality, spirituality. It does not matter. They all have an impact. So I wanted to share stories like that on the page because, like I said, I knew how vital it was for people to read these type of stories. And at the end of the day, we turn in the dark into light because at the end of the day, we have to see that in these dark moments, quote unquote, that there can be light. And one thing I told people, obviously I could have wrote stories for them based on what they telling me, but again, nobody could tell somebody's story better than they can. So reading it directly from them is the best way I feel like you can get it because I don't want to gas it or make a direct and like not direct, but I don't want to make a quote unquote target or focus based on their trauma because it's not even about the trauma. It's more about how they've grown. We obviously see different um, networks or whatever you want to call it will focus on the most negative thing and promote that for views and likes. But that wasn't my goal, and that's never going to be the goal with Evolving Through Experience. So I rather people tell their stories versus I try to promote it by just showing that because obviously the truth is our community and not just our community, but people love and thrive off of the trauma and the negativity more than the positivity. So instead of being in that gray area, I let them write it, and then we share it for the better. But the main focus in all of the stories is the growth that they've had from it and the courage and willingness they had to even write about it and come out about whatever it was. Because most people don't want those type of things that we've shared on ETE evolvingthroughexperience.com website. They don't want that out. But these people were so strong and brave enough that they did allow my platform to put it out for the better. And it was all genuine. And that's what I think, and that's what I know is going to separate Evolving Through Experience from everybody else. Because the vision I have for Evolving Through Experience, oh man, is big. And I can't wait for everybody to see it. And personally, I can't wait to see it. And like I said, with Evolve Through Experience, I'm just figuring this out day by day. So make sure y'all check out the website, Evolving Through Experience. Check out Evolving Souls. And check out the entire website. But those are the main ones I wanted to focus on with Evolving Through Experience. Yeah, so back like we never left, of course. Evolve Through Experience, the website, yo. Again, I have different categories on there, obviously, because different categories, different stories require different spaces to be told. And then obviously with the videos that I do have, you can also click on those to see the videos directly from YouTube through the website. But at the end of the day, the stories, like I said, and the brand are probably the most impactful. I realize now as I'm looking back, like one thing I've said, how we can pretty much evolve no matter the situation. I remember a story I shared pretty much in 2020, March 25th of 2020. Obviously, prom prom COVID-19, and just like, yo, observing. I remember how I felt during that time. Like, obviously I wasn't in a bad space, but living in a current state of life, or whatever you want to call it, and seeing how the entire world shut down, I know my mental was shocked. Like, I was in disbelief, but at the same time I could believe it. And I already knew I was in a great mental space, that I knew I could deal with anything, and I still feel that way. Although that doesn't make it easier. I mean, it could make it easier, but it doesn't necessarily make the situations easier. But it does make the mentality and the processing of it a lot easier. And maybe everybody don't understand it as of yet, but I think people will once you realize you can overcome anything and adapt the right spirit, mentality, even emotions. You'll realize anything is overcomable. Um, Once you realize that. So amid prime COVID, I was like, obviously it was lockdown. I remember being in the room, in the house, nonstop. When we did go out, when we did go out, we obviously put on masks. Everything was moving funny. As far as restaurants, you had to like do to go, had to have mask on. And then when we got home, I used to spray not my body directly, but the clothes, in the garage, with Lysol, and then go in the house, do a steam treatment. It was just so much going on. Steam treatments are good regardless at the end of the day, and it's natural. But at the end of the day, it was just like, yo, like it's nothing we can do. School is out. We're on online school. We're not getting the same life. Life changed in a blink of an eye, literally. So we're in the mid of all of this, and it's like, I was just in my room a lot because there was nothing else to do during this time. I was like, I could use this time to either like cry about it in a sense of like just huddle up and just like it is what it is, or do nothing about it and just let the drainage of the world and the propaganda that was going around at the time weigh on my mental for in a negative route. But I decided I'm not going to do that. During this time, I set a new routine versus what I was used to. And during this time, I was obviously going to the gym a lot, but things changed. So I'm like, during this time, I'm going to continue to focus on my business, which was evolving through experience was one of them, as well as my real estate business. Obviously, I doubled down on the real estate real heavy during this time, which was also very successful, which I'm thankful I am because I made a lot of money during COVID. And I say that in a positive route, not in a negative route. I think more people need to be exposed to that, but I will go into that a lot later. But as far as with that time during COVID, I set a routine. Every morning it was, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to work out, I'm going to give my body some physical action in a healthy route, in a healthy way. So it can impact me in a positive, healthy way. After that, it was eat breakfast, and not no whack breakfast. I mean a healthy breakfast. During this time, I was eating meat. I wasn't eating pork. I haven't eaten pork and beef in years, for many different reasons. But again, we'll go into that another episode. But during this time, I was like, I'll eat bacon, make me some eggs, with some spinach. We can go into evolving through food another day, because even now where I'm at in a space, that's not necessarily healthy, which is really not healthy. But overall, it was what I thought was healthy at the time. So I would do that after I work out. And then for several hours later, after I did all that, it's time to lock in on my businesses, whether that's the real estate, whether that's cold calling, whether that's ET, or mapping out what's next. With that routine, that's what worked for me. Sticking to that routine because, like I said, the world was going crazy. And truth be told, no, even when you are in a good mental space, even in a spiritual space, if you don't channel that and continue to build that, the world is constantly at work. And I'm not gonna make the world seem all negative, but it's constantly at work for the most part. The negativity is pushed. So if you're in a good space, you have to continue to work at that good space, because if not, it's not like you just get in a good space and you don't have to put in more work to continue that space or to thrive in it. The same way with entrepreneurship. You can make 100,000, but if you don't manage it and don't keep working to make more money on a regular basis, that 100,000 is going to dwindle. It's going to turn into zero, and then it's going to turn into negative. So at the end of the day, you have to channel it and you have to focus on and continue to work. So during that time, I was like, this is what I have to do. Even if I felt like 2018 when I started, I was at the highest level, quote unquote. Obviously, I don't believe in reaching my prime, because if we reach our prime, what else is there to really learn or evolve? Evolving is a continued process. It's a continuous process. That's why it's called the evolving through experience. It's never going to stop. I never said evolve through experience, although you do that, but it's still a continuous process. So with that being said, I had to figure out something to do, and I hope more people did do this. I should have continued during this time to put things like this out so people could have an outlet or feel like they have somebody that's relatable. But during this time, I just locked in. I'm like, I can't get into a quote unquote depressive state because the world is constantly pumping propaganda, and just sit in the house all day watching TV, consuming Netflix. That wasn't healthy. So like I said, I created a plan, did the workouts every morning, and I really worked out. Like, I mean, sweating worked out daily because I needed to feel it. I don't know if that was necessarily healthy now looking back, because it's like I feel like I had to do it like that in order to grow. But I'll get into that another episode. But overall, I stuck to a routine. After that, I would give myself balance, of course. After that, I wouldn't say I would did something that's unproductive, but I did something that was less, let's say, quote unquote, educational. After I did a whole days of working out, eating right, and then working on the business for a few hours, I'll give myself an hour or two to play the game, just relax, because obviously, like I said, I think we need that balancing out, or watch a movie or something like that and just relax and chill. It don't always have to be work, 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 but it definitely can't be all chill, 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 relax, relax, relax. It has to be a balance. And when I say balance, obviously I put more work into the growth side than the relaxing side. And I think with balance is something we could talk about too on another episode. That balance is not necessarily mean things need to be 50-50 all the time, or half and half. I think sometimes you have to unbalance in order to balance again in the future. And that can mean a plethora of things in different aspects. Like I said, we'll talk about that another day. But overall, during this time was where I could say I grew again, from when the brand started to where the brand was at 2020, and just trying to figure everything out from a brand standpoint, an individual standpoint, business standpoint, life standpoint, family standpoint, friendship standpoint, worldly standpoint. The standpoints go on and on over, as you can see. But at the end of the day, evolving through experience is obviously needed in all aspects. Who's to say we won't have another COVID-19 or pandemic? Truth be told, more than likely we will probably have one, if you know what I know. But at the end of the day, we need to have these type of outlets. And this is why Evolving Through Experience is here. Because again, no matter where we are in life, we have to continue to move forward, even when we are in a good space or just overcame something. By now we overcame COVID-19. COVID-19 is not that serious. It wasn't pumped up in the media like it is. It wasn't pumped up in the media now like it was in 2020. But my 2020, from focusing, I could say I had a lot of success in 2020, especially for my real estate company. That's obviously when I had my first deals in 2020, and I mean good deals too. I still remember like it was yesterday, and I say that in a healthy way, because even in the midst of the negativity in the world wilding, you could have some good things in that too. Evolving through experience. Before we wrap up episode 4, I just want to do a reminder. Again, because we need reminders. We need reminders. And when I say we, I mean all of us. Even the people that have it together, quote unquote. Because if they really have it together, they'll be honest and tell you that they don't have it together. they're trying to figure it out. So reminders are key. So here, as we say, before I wrap it up for episode 4, we have to just continue to evolve. And it's no elaborate, overcomplicated way that this needs to be said. It's just simply take every experience we endure, even the bad ones, even the good ones, and subtract the value out of it. Subtract the value so that we can add the value to our lives, to our friendships, to our relationships, to our kids, to our family, and like I said, overall to ourselves and to the world. Because when you put it out in the world as it needs to be and focus on the positivity, for one, the positivity and the good is going to come back to you. That's just the law of attraction, which we'll definitely be talking about on here at Evolving Through Experience. Because like I said, Evolving Through Experience is in every aspect of your life, you really have to evolve. You're destined to evolve. Whether you want to deny it, you want to push it away, you're going to evolve. Nobody stays the same age. And we don't even have to use age because age is obviously a number, but nobody stays the same height. For example, you're not going to be born as a baby, come on this earth, obviously with a purpose, and stay in the same position. Whether you realize it or not, or whether you want to or not, you're going to have to grow in some capacity. Some in some of those aspects you can't stop yourself from growing. Obviously, from your mentality, your spirit, your emotional, your physical. To some, well, you can't really do stop your physical because as a baby, you're gonna grow. You started in the womb. Well, we can go into this more because, like I said, we're gonna keep this family friendly. But overall, you started in the womb as, let's just say, a seed. And at the end of the day, from there, you grew until you came out. And then from there, you continue to grow. So at the end of the day, evolving through experience is going to be in every aspect of your life. And that's why, honestly, I can say this brand is for everybody. And I don't say that as if people won't support it. I'm never going to get into it. I could care less who support it. Because when it's a purpose, no matter who support it, they're going to feel it. Whether you dislike it or you don't like it, you do like it, you're going to feel it. Because evolving through experience is going to be everywhere. And I'm not saying that from the brand standpoint, but from the purpose standpoint. We're here to inspire people on the highest level possible. I'm here, and even myself, it's a growth I've got to do. It's work I'm doing that I'm going to continue to do. Work that I got to do that I don't even know I have to do as of yet. But I know I got to do it, if that makes sense. So at the end of the day, it's another episode 4 of Evolving Through Experience. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting thus far. I appreciate the 20 billion followers and subscribers. We're just manifesting, but it's coming at the same time because I put it out there. And that's what you got to do. What you want to start, what you want to do, for all those listening, you can do it. Don't let nobody tell you different. First and foremost, don't let yourself tell you different. Because that's the person that's the most important. If you tell yourself you're not going to do it or you can't do it, then it's the truth. Regardless of what the world has to say. The world and other individuals doesn't matter. But if you sit there and consume it and believe it, then technically it is true. So at the end of the day, Evolving Through Experiences for everybody. And I appreciate all the supporters, all the followers, and all the doers. Because one thing I say, I'll go into this another episode, but as far as just be an executor in all aspects of your life. Evolving Through Experience, episode 4. Hope to see y'all in the next one. Thank you.